Boom, boom. What's going on, everybody? We're here. We're live. Welcome to a brand new Poker Live podcast. My name's Joe Ingram, 1AK Chicago Joey. It's a special Saturday night podcast, so I didn't lose my self-proclaimed prop bet and lose $5,000 and have to play 10 World Series of Poker events this summer, which you guys know I definitely wanted to do. But Monday, guys, I got a video coming out about the ACR. They confirmed the cheating. These guys have been cheating you people. They gave out refunds, so we're going to make a video talking about the refunds they've given out as a result of the videos and the other comments and other things that the community's been doing. So that's going to be on Monday. And then let's get into it, man. Joining me today on the podcast is a young man. It's a man I've been very curious to learn more about over these past 2 years because I've seen him. It seems like he's been crushing for a long time. And now I'm not one to look at the tournament results on the Hendon Mob, but I was doing my research beforehand today, and I kept looking. And this guy seems like he's had a big cash every month, except 1 month in the past, like 2 years plus or something like that. I think it's about 3.5 million in earnings last year, 7.5 million in 2016, 3 million in 2015, almost $1 million this year. How much did he lose? I don't know. Maybe we're going to find out. I know you guys are all wondering that. He's currently ranked 4th on the GPI, which as a not a tournament player, I don't know how serious a lot of tournament guys are taking the GPI rankings. But to me, anytime you're a top 5 player on there in terms of rankings right now, I think that's something to be very proud about and something that you got to respect if you're a poker player of any level. So we're joined by the young man named David Peters, aka the dancing champion of poker, aka the one of the sickest tournament grinders I've seen, man. What's going on, David? Welcome officially to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Should be fun.
Yeah, man. So I was going through your results on here, man. It seems like you don't take any time off, man. It seems like you grind pretty much nonstop all around the world for the past bunch of years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love it. I love to travel. I love to I don't know. I'm a grinder at heart. I never get enough. I don't know. It's always looking for the next stop, and it's still fun to me.
Are the main things that you focus on right now the high rollers, the 10Ks, 25Ks, 100Ks, and those sorts of things?
Yeah, that's been my main focus. Still main events, good side events and stuff like that, but try not to get too crazy burnout by playing absolutely everything, including all the smaller buy-ins and stuff like that. But yeah, so my main focus has been mostly like high rollers.
And you're still playing a little bit online, it seems like, too. I saw there were some results for you online as well. I imagine a lot of the results are from the United States tournaments here, but there are a lot of high rollers and other events around the world. So do you kind of mix in the online when you are traveling to those live stops, too?
Yeah, I've been gradually playing less and less online. I haven't played much online in a while, in a few months, I guess. But yeah, I'm kind of playing less and less and just focusing more on, I guess, outside work and preparing for high rollers and stuff like that. But yeah, kind of less and less. I also play big events if there's a scoop, W Coop, or maybe a Sunday here and there or something like that, but not too much online these days.
Yeah, I would imagine when you get very used to playing these super high buy-in events, the 10Ks, 25Ks, 100Ks, when the online, it comes to playing online, like there isn't that many large events on there. I imagine you want a multi-table as well when you do play online too, and you kind of take a look at how do I want to spend my time on the road compared to, you mentioned playing like studying or even going out with friends or kind of just maybe doing other things besides grinding. I feel like the regular online tournament circuit wouldn't be as appealing once you're just kind of set in that routine of the high rollers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not as fun for me as it used to be. And I'm just playing so much poker as it is. I have so much stuff going on. I'm going to different cities. So I want to enjoy the city and stuff like that. So when I actually do have free time, I kind of like to spend it in other ways rather than grinding a small online session.
You do like to spend it in other ways, my friend. So most of the guys I know, David, some of my friends, they're, what are they into? They're into crypto, business. They're going to sleep at regular times. I said, do you want to go out? Doug, hey, Doug, you want to go out to the club? He's like, I've been in the club in 3 fucking years or something like that. But you, my friend, it seems like you got a little out of line in you, man. There was a video I posted on my Instagram a little bit ago. And it was from EDC where you're putting on the dance moves. And I think I actually saw you that night too. A little out of line for me. I don't really remember exactly what went on, but it seems like you have that same approach to enjoying yourself, to the partying aspect, as you do to grinding nonstop with poker. So how do you kind of balance those two desires? Because I know what it's like to have both of those desires. And for me, I've always had a tough time balancing the love of playing and the love of going outside and having a good time.
I mean, you just got to go hard at whatever you do. I don't know. I feel like I've been doing a good job of balancing it. I don't know. You got to have fun in life. You got to enjoy yourself. I work so much, so you got to work hard, play hard. It's kind of been like my motto, I guess. But yeah, I think it doesn't affect me like too much. Like if it got to the point where it's affecting me so much, like the next day, then I would slow down and be more, I guess, appropriate with it. But no, I think I've find a good balance, and I like to have fun.
You gotta listen. I'm gonna get some coaching from you on how to find that balance. I feel like I have that same motto. Believe it or not, go hard.
Yeah.
You know, I play poker. I'm putting in long sessions when I'm doing
Exactly.
videos or anything. I'm putting in a lot of time, and I haven't found that balance to like reset my mind, because I feel like when I go out, or if I go out with friends, and then if you stay out till 4 or 5 a.m., you got to sort of reset your mind. And I think maybe playing cash games is going to be different than tournaments. I don't know exactly maybe how the mindset's going to change after those long type of nights, or if, you know, sort of how it might differentiate between the two game types. But yeah, I haven't found that quite balanced yet. But I mean, it seems like it's been working pretty well for you. So I would imagine you're going to keep at a similar kind of routine and lifestyle until you maybe get burnt out or it stops working.
Yeah, I guess I'm starting to feel a little bit more as I get older and older, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy with kind of how I'm approaching things, and I think I have a good balance as far as how I want to spend my time. And, you know, a lot of times you're in cities where you don't get to see your friends very often, because I'm always bouncing around. So you might see your friends for a few days. So it's like, you want to have fun while you're there before you go to the next stop. And yeah, I think I'm doing a good job balancing that.
So it looks like you've had a pretty good year so far this year. It said the last two tournaments I was on there, I think you won a 25K maybe like last weekend or last week or something like that. And then you won another 25K in February. And now from my perspective, I'm not really sure how to, you know, when I see your results, to me, they look fucking awesome. But I don't exactly know how, you know, because obviously we know the high roller tournaments, there are less players in those, and it's sort of like a regular player field. So of course there's going to be the same names cashing or the same names at the top of the leaderboard pretty often in those, and there's a lot more of those high roller events now. So I guess how should people kind of looking from the outside looking in, how can they sort of how do you look at it and decide, all right, these people are good or these people are whatever, you know, how do you look at these results and kind of figure out if like who are the best players are?
Well, figuring out who the best players are is you can't focus so much on results. It's more so from playing with them and watching them play if they're live streams, and just evaluating the plays they're making. And if you're good at evaluating, like, I don't know, skill, I guess, then that's going to be a better judge than just if someone goes on a heater or someone beats a couple tournaments. Or so that's kind of how I always looked at it. There's going to be people who go on sick runs, but then you play with them and it's kind of like, well, they're making a lot of mistakes. They're not playing that well. So you can kind of tell that this is probably a player like that, you know, is probably going to kind of die down or not stay at that level for too long. So I'm more focused on just if I'm playing very well as opposed to looking at my results. Like, I mean, sometimes you can be playing your very best and playing very well and very happy with the way you're playing and just running horribly and just having a very bad stretch of tournaments. But as long as you're playing great, I mean, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like from my perspective and having tournament friends, that's very hard to understand that, engage that, because in the moment when you're playing and when you're losing, when you're busting out of tournaments, you're like, you don't even know sometimes if you're playing right. And I think it takes so much time and so much experience to be able to properly take a step back and say, all right, I am running bad, as compared to, oh, I might be playing bad. Because a lot of the people I know, they all tell me they're running bad. They all say it's variance. Yeah. I'm just getting unlucky here. And so I'm saying, like, I mean, it can't be that for everybody. Everyone just can't be running bad. So it has to be some other factors, I feel like that. But it's really hard in the moment to I think, properly sort of process that and understand that.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of be honest with yourself and tell if you're constantly coming into spots where you just have no idea what to do, or you're unsure about this, or just like, I should know this spot better, I should know the math better here. But if that's constantly happening, and then it's kind of like, well, okay, maybe I'm not just running bad. Maybe I need to put in some more work. But if you're constantly happy with your decisions, and you know what to do, and you're sure what the math is here, you know what the correct move is there, and you're not feeling like too much doubt about your play, then you just can't think about the results and just focus on that.
Yeah, I think gauging your uncomfortability is something that is, I think that's a good way to sort of gauge, because whenever I work with anyone at Potland, Omaha, I always kind of say, well, what are you uncomfortable with? You know, whether it's aggression, whether it's just maybe being out of position, whether it's in 3-bet pots or just a number of different things. And I feel like if you can be honest with yourself and say, all right, these things make me uncomfortable, then you can figure out, all right, let me go seek out the information I need, whether that's a course or a video or a fucking book or whatever it is that people use to study right now at the game. I mean, there's so much content out there right now. So yeah, I think that's a really great way to sort of gauge that. I think when you look at yourself, I mean, I guess this might be a little giveaway, but what do you think that is there like an area right now that you're trying to focus on a little bit more than the other areas when it comes to the idea of comfort versus uncomfortability?
Specific area, I don't know. I kind of just bounce around for all the different areas. I guess maybe like getting better at ICM or understanding, looking deeper into than just looking deeper into what just the ICM program, like say hold'em research calculator says and stuff like that, and kind of trying to figure out what the actual optimal strategies are. I guess that would be one of the areas, right? Because there's a lot of different opinions on that. But yeah, I would say that's one of the areas I've been looking into lately.
Yeah, I think that I was introduced to ICM by Fedor Holz, the young prince, the young retired prince who still plays a lot of poker. And I guys out there, you guys know Fedor was my ICM coach. I still have not learned ICM quite yet. I don't know when I'll be learning it, if ever, unfortunately. But they don't have to worry about that at cash games, luckily. So ICM seems like it's a whole little fun thing, but you mentioned ICM, and it seems like there are probably like other ways to take that information that it gives out. Just because it says that, there might be ways to sort of look at the information differently and sort of take maybe a unique approach to it that might give you a little bit of an edge in a spot if you feel like it might be played differently than what ICM says or what everyone else is saying and what everyone else is doing in those spots.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of just, I don't know, use your own intelligence to try and look deeper and think of like, because there's a lot of different things that ICM like can't factor in. They can't factor in future, like how the dynamics are going to change, the leverage you're going to be able to have if you get these chips and all these types of things. And so just, I always felt that it can't just follow it strictly by what ICM says, and you need to kind of research and think about things differently and look into how the dynamics change based on picking up these chips by going all on a spot where they're probably not going to call too often. And now all of a sudden you cover a couple more people and you're able to apply more pressure, or maybe you're regaining chip lead and now people aren't playing back at you. So there's just a lot of different, and it also depends on how the players are playing, but there's a lot of different factors to factor in rather than just plugging in numbers and just seeing what it says.
Yeah, I kind of think the same thing for general poker theory these days is that, with all the solvers out there now, there feel like there's solvers for almost all the game types. You can obviously plug the numbers in and just play strictly off that. But I think the ability to build unique strategies and sort of look at things from different angles outside of just what the numbers say is what really sets players apart sometimes, and what gives you some unique edges and unique advantages over different players. Because if you just sort of like, all right, everything's by the book here, you got this, that, I feel like you want to have some sort of mixture of the GTO solver approach mixed in with the exploitative approach. And obviously people always talk about this, but now I feel like it's shifting way more towards solver strategy. And when you have a conversation with someone, it's like, nope, it's 1.75 big blind C-bet here and all that kind of stuff like that. So it's just like, I feel like there are so many different ways that you can play poker, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be one way or the other. And yeah, kind of poker strategy evolving is kind of where it goes, I feel like.
Yeah, there's so many different ways. There's so many different player types. So many people are playing so differently. So it's not just as simple as getting the solver solution. You have to understand why certain hands are doing what the solver would say, and kind of think about it deeper, and use that in your own game, and just use that to build strategies. And kind of, if people are playing a certain way, then you can think of strategies to counter that. And so it's about understanding why you're doing certain things, or understanding situations and applying them in your own way, and just understanding the player you're playing against, and if you should be, I don't know, trying to stay balanced, or if this is a spot where you don't play with him much, you don't need to be balanced, or there's just a lot of different things. It's not just as simple as memorizing solver solutions. You really have to look deeper into it and actually understand and realize why you're doing certain things.
Yeah, and I found that this is incredibly challenging and maybe impossible to actually coach or teach. To kind of take a look at what the guys like Doug, when he does his YouTube videos, he sort of he's teaching from a very simple strategy, a very simple plan. Do this in this spot, do this in this spot. Because when you do start to get into, well, against this player, you might want to do that. And depending on this dynamic, you might want to do that. It's just incredibly hard to really learn that and to teach intuition to some players. So that's why I found a big disconnect when I watched Doug's videos and he's sort of saying, do this every time. I'm like, well, I mean, come on, you can't. I'm going to do it every time, right? Like sometimes you might not do it right, but it's so hard to really get that across to people. And then you just fuck up their mind so much more. And you're like, well, this guy. And you're like, well, no, not that. And then it's this whole little circle. I mean, that's what makes poker challenging. And that's why when you can get better at that part of the game, it gives you a pretty big advantage. And that's why good players do really well. I mean, that's a big thing that separates good players from losing players.
Exactly. You have to understand when to, I don't know, like, I guess frequencies, everything's not just to always do this, always do that, unless you're playing an exploitative spot versus somebody you don't play versus much, or you're not worried too much about playing GTO or balance and all that. But yeah, you got to understand why you should be doing this sometimes, why you should be doing that more often, but still finding a good balance and mixing up your play. So you're not playing obvious. Everything's not just always do this, always do that. You got to find a good balance and mix it up.
Well, I look forward to having the strategy discussion be more towards you always have to do this. I think I saw like Patrick Leonard and like Ryan LaPlante were on Twitter. I was like a few weeks back and they were having this big argument and Patrick's like, oh, the solver says this. I'll bet my life on this. So I'm like, man, all right, these guys are I'm like, okay, guys, I gotta like, can't read this anymore. So
I haven't gotten into too many Twitter poker battles. I don't follow that too much.
It's better. I try. I don't get any bad. I stay out of all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
So it looks like you had this. You had a good run in the Poker Open, rather, U.S. Open and the Poker Masters, and they sort of added these events in. Which I don't know what the general feedback on this, but I put out a video about Dear Daniel Grano with fixed high stakes, and I said let's just try something. So whether currently what the setup is for Poker Masters, the U.S. Poker Open, could it be better? Probably. Are they trying something new? Yes, they are, and I really like the innovation, at least kind of trying to group these tournament series together to give them some extra meaning as compared to how most times it's just like a standalone event. And from your playing in those, and you had success in both of those, what was your opinion on just how that was set up and kind of what they're trying to do with those events?
I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good setup. It had a nice mix of tournaments. I think it was exciting. It was on Poker Go, and a lot of fans get to watch and see whole cards. And I thought it was a really good setup. I like what Arya has been doing with high rollers. I mean, sure, they can work on kind of making it better or finding the right balance of how many tournaments they should have and not having too many and stuff like that. But no, I think they've been doing a great job, and the fields have been pretty good turnouts, and everyone's having fun. It's a great setup. I love what they're doing.
What do you think they could improve in these situations? Are they just in the series?
Maybe sometimes not go overboard with having too many tournaments or going to kind of just like having a good like space in between, I guess, would be something. Or just not going. Yeah, it's not going too crazy with one here and then 2 weeks later. Or I guess if the demand is there, it kind of just varies. But just keep an eye on what the demand is and just make sure to always be adjusting and not just always try to have the most amount of tournaments. Is more about having the right amount, I guess.
Yeah, I think probably it's hard to maybe put some space in there if you have a recreational player that might want to come in but they want to compete maybe for the title and they want to play more, but then they can't because there's days in between. So I can understand the format that they went with and how they chose that structure for it. I think the last one was like 10 events. They had a Pot Limit Omaha in there. They had a mixed game event in there. Did you play the Pot Limit Omaha tournament and the mixed game tournament for those ones?
No, I'm kind of just a one-trick pony. You know? I was thinking about jumping in the 10K PLO, but it just wasn't really smart, so just skipped it. I haven't really played much. You got 4 cards. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I bet way too many cards.
I'm serious. If you played a PLO tournament, you'll be surprised just how well you'll do just by knowing general tournament strategy. Because I'm serious, man. If you go play, because if you're a high-level poker player and you're smart, you know how to break down a hand. Think about a hand, think about situations. You'll probably find if you try it, you'll be like, oh, wait, okay. It's not like yeah, sure,
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable as hell in many different spots. And when I have 8 big blinds, I got no idea what to do with queen, jack 8 with one suit. I don't know what to do with that either in an early position. But I think that might be a little bit weird. But I think overall, just having a great understanding of how tournaments work and how to use your stack size would probably be a huge benefit for you. But yeah, I don't want to get you in the great game. I am the ambassador for Pop in Omaha. So
yeah, I mean, I think if I'm confident if I put in the time and actually the work to get better, that I have a lot of those skills, like you said, that would help me a lot, and I should do pretty well. But I just never found the motivation to kind of start from the bottom or middle or whatever to try and play at the high stakes. So I remember I jumped in like a WSOP 1K, and I was on my phone the whole time, and like late reg or whatever. I was on my phone the whole time and I ended up busting. And my friend was like, "Why you were on the phone? What was going on your phone?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I was looking up like hand rankings. I like looking up PLO strategies online. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing." So that was kind of fun.
A great game of Pop in Omaha, guys, man. I don't think you're the only person who's done that. I get messages all the time from people saying, "Hey, I'm going to play a tournament. What should I do?" I'm like, just fold early position, raise a lot late position, pray. And I mean, even if you know what you're doing, you gotta get all in so many times in those things. It's just such a crapshoot. Plus, there's just not many PLO tournaments to play throughout the year. Now there's the 10K there, and there's maybe some at these stops overseas. But during the series, there's the 10K, 25K, the 3K 6 max, and that's really it. So there's not like you have many options to really play and get better.
That's kind of why. Yeah, that's also another reason why I haven't really put in the time for that or mixed games, is because I'm mostly I enjoy tournaments, and there's just really isn't tournaments outside of Nolan Hold'em. Like, I mean, there's a handful, but it's basically non-existent. Yeah, especially for like big buy-in tournaments. So, like the World Series obviously has some big buy-ins, but that's 1 month out of the year. So I mean, so that was kind of been my lack of motivation for working on mixed games or PLO and stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems like they are also, and there's more Nolan Hold'em tournaments now. They're adding more high roller series. It seems like every tournament stop has a high roller, whether it might be a $700 high roller if you're in like Chicago or something like that. Shout out to Chicago. But in most places now, with these big series and Party Poker putting on more tournaments, 888 Poker putting on more tournaments, they're adding more high rollers for each of these events. Party Poker's at a ton of different stops. They pretty much trying to emulate that PokerStars live tournament model, and they've pretty much just added in a bunch of events for this year. So it seems like I don't know how long this is sustainable for there to be so many of these high roller tournaments, but it seems like it's going pretty strong. And it seems like the overall current state of the high roller economy is pretty healthy. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's going very strong. And Party Poker adding all these stops is, I mean, they don't let me have a break, but it's just nonstop. There's just so much stuff going on. But yeah, no, it's great. The high rollers still getting good fields. I don't really see it slowing down anytime soon. But yeah, it's great. It's great to have those options. Sometimes you're going to have things that overlap, so you can't go to one. But it's nice to have options you can choose from. Maybe you like the city better than that, so you can go there. Or you can skip a series and not feel too bad because there's still so many more. But yeah, I think the high roller scene right now is great, and hopefully it keeps going or keeps getting better.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, is it sustainable? Because I think some people ask me, they say, do you think there can keep growing and keep getting more players? And if will regulars sort of die out? Will new players start moving up there to try to play them? And it does seem like there are new tournament players kind of making the rise and really they have their dream is to move up to these high rollers. And it seems like it's in sight because there are so many events, and there are so many events now where you can start game selecting, it seems like, too, where maybe, but I don't know which one are the hardest ones, like the hardest high rollers. Maybe it's the Aria ones, maybe it's the Bahamas, then maybe the softer ones are like Barcelona and what's Monaco or something like that. So probably Asia, shout out to Asia. I don't know, bang on Asian, like Asian players like that. But do you find that there are some of the stops are significantly more reg filled than other stops?
It kind of varies, I guess. Maybe like Arias sometimes can be more reggy. Monte Carlo is usually good. PCA is good. Barcelona is always great. Maybe some of these like smaller stops where there's not too many like locals that can play, like, I don't know, I guess like a non-PCA like Bahamas series or something. I think, I don't know, it just varies so much sometimes. It's really hard to like expect how it's going to be sometimes, so it's tough to say. But
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think about the idea, like the people talk about people sharing action in these events, or you have to worry about this guy's got a piece of this guy, and then maybe that's going to impact their play, which has been a pretty common thing people have brought up. And I've heard from some players that didn't want to play maybe some of the high roller series at Aria because they say that a lot of players in those games are going to typically share action with each other. And just kind of what do you think about the current state of that happening right now in these events?
I honestly don't think there's anything bad going on or anything. Any people are getting too out of line as far as what pieces they have compared to the other people they're swapping with. But it's tough to know. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to say. I would hope that all the people that are being, I don't know, smart about it and not going overboard and just having a reasonable piece compared to who they're swapping with. But it's really tough to say. I haven't really noticed anything too noticeable, but it's really tough to say. But I think it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of something you worry about at cash games. Obviously, when you play cash games, you might be worried about maybe these guys are doing this or whatever. But online now, you sort of know the same screen names over a very long sample. So you just sort of hope nothing's happening, and you keep your eyes open and you look for unusual things and those sorts of things. And I think that self-policing from players in the games definitely does work to a big degree. But there obviously are going to be times and things where it might go unnoticed and things like that. So I think it is a concern players should have if they're interested in maybe playing some of these events. But yeah, you don't think it's something that they just kind of, it's probably not that big of a thing going on right now then?
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, nothing really comes to mind. I mean, I'm always going to keep a lookout, or I'm always going to like keep my eyes open to see if I see anything fishy or anything like that. But I think it's fine.
Yeah. What kind of, do you have like a tournament group of friends in there? I don't know if you're with like the Ben 86 and Hollywood Haxton and I don't know. I don't think Sauce actually plays these. So do you have like a crew you roll with, Jake Schindler, maybe the Florida guys, or I don't know, maybe the Euro guys, maybe, I don't know.
I kind of have like friends just scattered all over the world, and so I don't have like a set like crew. Like I go to a lot of spots that some friends don't go to, but yeah, I mean, I guess some of my better friends would be like Byron Coverman, Shannon Shore, some of, I guess, more well-known players like that, like Chris Hunichin, a few guys like that. So it kind of just, and then a lot of guys I don't know, you might not know the names of. One of my good friends is Please on Stars. He doesn't really play the live circuit much, but he's runs like the standard backing site. But yeah, I guess there's a lot of kind of my friends just all over the world. It's kind of funny because I don't have like a normal, like most people have like their crew where they live in a city and they just have like all these friends from that city. I just have like a few here, a few there, a few there, a few here, a few here. So it's kind of funny. How it bounces around like that.
I got to say, I'm not surprised to hear Byron's name as the first name mentioned on your friend list, my friend. From knowing Byron's tendencies, he likes to enjoy himself outside the poker table as well too. So yeah, can't say I can only imagine, man. Jesus.
Yeah. he's not nearly as out of line as he was years ago. So I need to get him more out of line.
No.
Maybe not.
No. So like my big thing, I'm looking at through your Hendon mob. I'm looking at through sort of the results you've had, and you've been pretty consistent with the work ethic here. You've been very consistent with playing all over the world now for a bunch of years. And now after you have a lot of success, how do you what part of you, where's that I guess that motivation come from? I think that's what a lot of people wonder. Even for myself, I think if when you have that success at a high level for a couple of years, it's just kind of natural maybe for it to fall off or whatever. And I imagine for you, it probably isn't the money. I guess it's probably just the love of the game. I would guess is probably what drives you the most. Or what do you think are those big motivators for you that kind of keep you going month in, month out, even with having great results all the time?
I mean, one of my biggest motivators is just trying to be the best. I'm trying to get to the point where I don't think anyone in these fields is playing better than me, or it just always motivator is always just getting better, just like being more confident. Like I feel so much better if I play a tournament and there's no spots where I was unsure about. It's like you want to get to that point where you just feel like you have such a good grasp on there's so many different areas of poker. So to have a great grasp on all of those. And then on like the financial side, I mean, I I want to set my family up so they don't have to worry about money. I want to have financial freedom so I can kind of enjoy my life, not feel pressured into playing poker 5 years from now or 2 years from now, or whatever. Or if it's a Sunday, I can kind of just not feel like I need to grind. I can just go watch some football or hang out with friends. So I guess financial freedom is one of my biggest motivators for sure.
So where do you think you fall right now in wanting to be one of the best, man? Where do you fall in line? Where'd you put yourself?
I don't rank myself like that. I don't know. That's for other people to do.
No power rankings. Now the tournament players, are they excited to give power rankings to some of the cash game guys are? Because that's not a tournament thing, huh? No, you probably.
I'm not really into giving power rankings. I don't know.
Yeah, no, listen, you never know where power rankings are gonna. They might zig and zag this way. You never know.
Yeah,
you might
exactly.
Yeah, you might not put a guy on the list all of a sudden, like he's 3-betting you 50% more, and you're like, what's happening here? Okay, so
yeah, it bounces around. I mean, some people maybe they're on your power ranking, and now they don't really work that much, and so now then you have someone else who's working their ass off all day, every day, just going crazy, and now they're passing the other guy. So it's tough to say.
So would you say top 10 for yourself?
Yeah, I would say top 10.
Top 5?
Well, just I'll stick at top 10. We'll stop it at that.
I like top 10, man. I'm always, everyone always wants me to ask for power rankings for people, and I'm like, well, I mean, I know where they lead to. I know if you say the wrong thing, like people are like, fuck. Doug comes out, he's getting power rankings. They're like, they're all getting mad. I'm sad. Everyone has egos. When you get to some of these best players in the world, everyone's got their ego. That's how you get to become one of the best. That's how you keep getting driven because you do have a healthy ego or an unhealthy ego to you. So anytime someone might slight you or disrespect you, you can use that as a motivator too. And you might be unknowingly giving someone else some motivation out there to maybe get after it even harder. Or they might not have been paying attention to things.
Oh yeah, that's always a motivator. If you get denied on like a swap or something like that, or someone's maybe talking shit or I don't know, something like that. That's always a big motivator for me. It's like, all right, okay, I see. And then you just like want to work that much harder and just, I don't know, it just motivates you a lot.
Yeah, I think there's like a fine line between certain people or certain ways you can needle someone where it might be good for you, but in other ways, if you needle someone, so for instance, last week on Poker After Dark, it was Pot Limit Ohio weekend, and Brian Rast made a questionable play. He made a questionable call all in, and then Sam Salvarel's in the game, and you play with Sam a bunch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam definitely. I think Sam's a guy who maybe enjoys making a needle or two, and Sam said something about the play, and then he said something about the play a couple more times, and then Brian, he's like, man, are you gonna keep talking about it? Let's cross the book, let's do this, let's do that, and. I think with a guy like Brian, if he's calling all in with the ace queen 10 deuce on a deuce 5-6 board, he wants to gamble, whatever, but it might not be the best thing to especially for someone like Brian to say, hey, what are you doing? Because that's the kind of guy who, when you say that, he's fucking fired up. He's like, I'm gonna go study 175 million hours this week at PLO or something like that. Yeah. Whereas maybe some players you can maybe say that once to or something like that. But I feel like you really have to pick your spots when it comes to calling out another player at that stakes, and you might it might be some of the best thing for them, but not really be a good thing for you if they're playing poorly. You don't want to say, hey, get better, dumbass. It's just
for sure. You don't want to start a fire under them, and get them motivated to get better. But Sam, he loves to make comments at the table. He has fun though. I mean, he's having a good time. I like it.
Yeah, I've enjoyed getting Sam. I think he's been playing a little bit more on some of these televised things, and I've been enjoying getting to meet some of the new personalities. Some of the I like getting a chance to see some of the tournament guys, get them more exposure out there. Do you ever consider maybe playing on one of the cash game, the Peel After Dark, or Nolan Hold'em or the Nolan Hold'em Poker After Dark episodes, or do you play any cash games at all yourself?
I sporadically play cash games my whole career. Not cash games as much recently, but yeah, I would love to play on a game like that, Poker After Dark. That'd be fun. I kind of, as far as cash games, I've never been good at networking or getting in the big home games, which is a whole nother skill in itself and really annoying, I guess. But I guess I haven't really put in the effort either. So that's kind of another reason why I don't play too many cash games, because I guess I want to play the biggest stakes to feel motivated, and it's tough to get in those games. So. But yeah, I would love to play Poker After Dark. It
is definitely a different skill set. You're very correct. And I kind of thought, so I don't have any confirmation of this, but to me, it does seem like in the tournament world, being able to get backed is a very big skill. And now I think when you're one of the best, it might not matter as much. But I do feel like a lot of those players that fall in the, micro to even that middling tier, I feel like being able to sell yourself and knowing where to find action on 2+2 or on Twitter, Facebook, or through your friends group, or through Stake Kings, or through all those different sites out there. I feel like that is a very underrated thing that people don't talk about very often.
Yeah, as far as that, I don't know. I guess it's tough to like sell you. I think you just have to have good results. You have to have respect of your peers. You have to have word of mouth that this guy plays very well. So all you can really do is just try to play really well. And unless you're just a great salesperson, I don't really know how you can network and get staking as far as that goes. I think you just need to have good results and play well, so that people that they can ask will say, yeah, he plays really well. So you kind of just have to work on your game. And I guess it's much different in like the live high stakes home game type, as opposed to getting staking and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's certainly tough for sure.
Yeah. I might do a video one day talking more about the live high stakes public or private cash game scene, guys, because it's some, I don't know. Yeah. It's an interesting world out there for sure. So I kind of want to, I was going on Twitter earlier today. Max Steinberg said, he said something about he's listening to a poker podcast with a high stakes tournament player, and has me thinking, what could make these types of interviews more engaging? And the questions he has on here, I'll ask one of his questions. He says, gossip. Do you have anyone on tour you don't get along with? Is there anyone who's playing in high rollers consistently who you think is clearly backed and also a losing investment? So I know the answer to one of these questions, but I'm going to ask this because I want to show Max exactly what happens during these questions. So go. What do you think?
I'm not much of a gossiper. I don't know. I don't really have much No, I don't really. There's no one I don't get along with, I guess, that I can think of. I'm a pretty chill guy. As far as who I think is losing in these high rollers, or maybe not that great, that's not really something I'm going to get into.
Okay, so that's exactly, I made like a quick video earlier today responding special. That's exactly why you might not ask that question, Max, is because this is the answer you're going to get from most of the guys that are on the tournament. Like they're not going to, most of those guys aren't into gossip. The guys that are into gossiping, from my experience, are, you'll find some tournament players, sure, they might gossip about Phil Hellmuth, but the cash game guys, they love the heads up guys are the guys that love gossiping, man. Those guys love gossiping. The Potluck and Omaha guys, those guys are degenerates. Get a couple drinks to them, they love gossiping. But it doesn't seem like the tournament, the high roller guys, seems like they don't gossip. They just sort of play and they grind and they keep getting after it.
Maybe if I had a few drinks to me, I can go do some shots. Sure. You might get a lot out of me, but might have to do this round 2 some other time at the bar or something. But so we're probably not going to get too much gossip out.
Might be an idea. So the other question, Max had on here was solvers. Do you think anyone misuses them, and how do you go about applying what you find to your game?
Yeah, people misuse them. They just kind of do exactly what the solution says and don't think about how the opponent's actually reacting. Considering you're playing a human, you're not playing a computer. So you have to be able to adjust. And, maybe a lot of people aren't adjusting in some spots based on how people actually play. And they're kind of just going off of how, if they were playing against a computer, but you're not. So.
What was the last one? How do you go about applying what you find to your game?
I think it's just a good way to, you see certain hands that pop up, certain combos and like solver, and then maybe you might not have thought about why something like that would be there, and then it gets you to start thinking about your game, thinking about how to apply that in other areas. So like, I don't know, maybe you might see the difference between 2 diamonds as opposed to 2 clubs on certain boards, and then you can see why you're unblocking backdoor flush draw floats, stuff like that. Just like little things you can pick up here and there that if you can keep an eye on and look for stuff like that. But yeah, you just try and get a good grasp of how to look at all the different situations and get a good idea of what's optimal versus certain playing styles, and just kind of look at the solver solutions, but always making sure to adjust your game or adjust your plays based on how they're actually playing. But yeah, no, it's definitely helpful for sure. And I've certainly put a lot of time into that.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think it's an absolute must that if you're playing tournaments right now, do you have to put work in and put time in with these solvers, or do you think players can still make it without really studying anything like that?
I would recommend it. I mean, I don't know if it's an absolute must. I'm sure there's a lot of players out there who never use it and probably have no intentions of using it. But yeah, I mean, I would say it's certainly helpful. Maybe a lot of those players I would prefer to not use them, so because they'd probably get better if they did. But yeah, no, it's certainly a helpful tool for sure.
Guys, we got a lot of people in the chat today. I don't know what's happening. I'm getting this is like hot in my place in here in Vegas right now. It's getting hot, finally warm on here, guys. It's been cold, 50 degrees here in Vegas. We've been snowed inside, winter hats, and I saw David walking around with one of those Antarctica coats on the other day, walking the strip, saying, "When is this cold gonna end?" But we're finally getting warm out here, so it's good. I see a lot of people in the chat. I think a mutual friend of ours. I see Andrea Thomas in the chat. We know Drea loves to get a little bit out of line with her life for sure. I see a lot of my other regulars out there. My boy Wayne Chiang, what up, Wayne? What's happening, brother? What's going on, Poppy? What's happening? JW Video says all bots press 1. I am not gonna press 1. I am not a fucking bot. Shout out to the bots. David, what do you think about bots, man? You worried about bots taking over your life?
No, I'm not too worried. I mean, it's really tough to know how much they're out there, or I guess it doesn't bother me too much because I don't play online much anymore. But I think we'll be fine. I think I'll survive. If I have to play a few bots here and there, then whatever. I'm ready for the challenge.
Damn, hold on a second. We got an unusual question in the chat right here, David. This is not a question we commonly get on the Poker Live podcast, and that is because our demographic is all men. And I do believe you know this woman, but Alexa S says, "Is MTT'er singles?"
I am not single. I'm in a I'm in a relationship.
Is her name Alexa S?
It is Alexander.
Okay, that might be weird. She wasn't her. Okay. Well, so how do you?
I knew she'd be making some questions. She's actually in the other room right now.
Damn. So how do you find this balance? Because you're a guy playing poker consistently all the time. So how do you find the balance of with your girlfriend, and obviously want to spend time with her, wanting to make her happy, wanting to have a healthy relationship, and also your desire to want to grind, become the best poker player in the world, and to pretty much dominate the other players in the high roller circuit?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough balance for sure. You want to spend a lot of time, I don't know, hanging out with my lovely, beautiful girlfriend, but I'm still working so hard and playing so much poker and at the same time, you still want to enjoy life and see the different cities I'm in. So it's really, I try to balance it between those three things mainly, I guess, and spend time with family and stuff like that. But it kind of makes it tougher to do other things, like, I don't know, I guess other areas of life or whatever. But no, I think I do a pretty good job of it. She's very understanding that, which is great. As far as you need someone that's understanding of that, like most people just think I'm absolutely insane with the hours I put in and working 100 hours and studying 10 hours a day and shit like that. but no, she's very understanding. She knows that I'm a very ambitious person, and she loves that. So it's definitely. Babe,
you want to go get dinner? No, I'm working. I can't go get dinner tonight with you, babe. I'm working on 6-3 suited in the button. when the flop comes down 8-7-3, I'm working out my proper ranges against 75 different player types in the high rollers. You don't want to just. Aria's right there. We can go get a taco from Javi. No, listen, I got 3 more hours to go. Oh, okay, you got to.
I mean, yeah, Uber Eats. You got Uber Eats. You got all these different places that deliver. I mean, we're good. I can eat it.
All right, I got an important question. Rank the food delivery apps in Las Vegas. We got Uber Eats. We got Postmates. We have Grubhub. Those are the 3 I know and I've used and currently used and used yesterday and maybe today. What are your power rankings for food delivery apps in Las Vegas?
I guess probably Postmates and Uber Eats. I haven't used Grubhub, but yeah, no, they're pretty good. They got a lot of options. You don't have to leave the house. It's great.
Well, the only difference between Grubhub and Uber Eats, they make you go downstairs to get the food, but Grubhub, they bring it up, and Postmates, they always bring it up.
Right.
So it's like that. Okay. That's like but I find it good sometimes actually stop working and stop studying and then go downstairs and actually get a break. So I don't mind when I do the Uber Eats.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Also, by the way, I do want to say your Alexis said he doesn't find the balance. I do everything. So listen, it is what it is. I mean, hey, Alexa, we thank you for allowing David to focus so hard on poker, study his game, put in the hours, have the results, and become one of the best. We thank you for allowing you giving him to. I mean, he's got to represent America, Alexa. You got to understand this right now. Exactly. We're in a fight against the world. The Europeans are coming. Fedor Holz, Stefan Sondheimer, all the other guys that have a similar name, they're coming for America. And we need MTT'ers to defend the American poker players' honor and crush these high rollers, man. So thank you for doing your country proud. Your country thanks you, Alexa. Please keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yeah, she does. She understands. She understands. She got to support. Represent America.
Listen, I'm scared. I'm scared for Americans, man. Where are the young? We don't have any young Americans out there, man. It's crazy. I was like, is David young? I look, he's 30. I'm like, he's almost my age. I'm like, where are the young Americans fighting for our country? They're not out there. We have all these 20-year-old, 21-year-old guys from Europe and Scandinavia coming up here. And I guess where do you think right now the USA player pool stands versus the rest of the world out there?
As far as younger players, I mean, it's tough. It's tough if you're 18, 19, 20, 21. You can't play in the U.S. You have to travel outside of the U.S. It's tough to get in a lot of hands if you're just playing live cash games or these live tournaments. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna be behind the curve unless you're, I don't know, making the effort to move somewhere where you can play online, or if you're putting in a lot of hours on ACR or. Yeah, it's tough.
Whoa, ACR, whoa, ACR, whoa. Hey, listen. Hey, they took a step, guys. All right, they took a step. They don't have a security team. They're basically hitting buttons when it comes to security. That's fine. They gave refunds. They're taking steps. Hopefully, they do make it a viable option out there for American poker players. But I think you're right. I remember a couple months back. I can't remember what was it, Jordan Christos? Maybe I don't want. He might be wrong, but he said he thought ACR was hard, and I said, listen. Poker stars, that's where champions are made. Their champions are not made on ACR. The reason why the rest of the world players are getting so much better exponentially faster is because rest of the world players focus more on solvers. American poker players don't know how to operate a solver, and they're falling behind year by year by year. And I think that's why we end up where we end up now. And that's why it's all. I mean, it's a lot of surprising way when you see a young American player rise up through those ranks and really start competing with the best, just because the environment you have to get better in just is so much different than it is for poker stars. And I feel like poker stars, man, it really does make you a lot better player. And it just goes to show you playing against better competition is going to make you better faster. And for you to survive against that better competition, you're going to have to put in much, much, much more work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's tough to get better if you're playing against weak competition a lot. Putting in those hours, playing against great players, kind of watching how they're playing, a lot of those things are going to make you get better much faster. And it's difficult. And if you don't have that and you're kind of just playing again, like, you talk to some friends who they have like a good cash game, local cash game that they do very well in, and they kind of don't want to leave because they're crushing. But it's more about like developing a certain style in those games to beat these bad players. So you're not even really focusing so much on playing very good poker. It's more just about figuring out how to exploit these bad players rather than what the actual optimal lines would be versus good players. So that's a whole different skill set kind of. So you could be absolutely destroying this game. You could be destroying a 500 1K high stakes home game, but those same skills aren't going to be really applicable to, I don't know, a super high roller or something. It's kind of a different game if you're playing against different types of opponents like that.
Well, that might actually be an argument for you maybe playing more online and some of those bigger buy-ins when you do travel, just because you are able to face a little bit tougher competition on a regular basis in those. And it also might be an argument to play maybe even less of the lower buy-in tournaments and try to focus more on playing against that top competition in those high rollers, especially if you want to become, one of the best players or the best player in the world. It seems like kind of continually testing yourself. And then when there's a good value event or a main event, maybe hopping in that. Do you think that would be as a pretty good approach for someone that your level to take?
Yeah, as far as playing less smaller stakes tournaments, that definitely is something I've been doing more and more. And as far, I probably should be playing more online, I guess, in higher stakes tournaments and maybe like cash games, stuff like that. But I kind of always just preferred to use that time to study on my own. I mean, you can learn so much. You can, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff you can do where you don't have to just be playing. So, I mean, you can you can be getting, I feel like sometimes it can be a better, more efficient use of my time to kind of spend that time studying on specific areas, specific hands, rather than keep playing a bunch of hands. And then maybe you don't even come across some of the spots you have been trying to work on. So it's probably something I should have been doing more. I just kind of never had the motivation to do it and would prefer to use my time other ways, I guess. But for sure, it would be a good approach.
I mean, it's the classic debate, right? Poker playing versus studying. How much do you play? How much do you study? Everyone always talks about this. What's the proper balance? And I mean, it's very easy to fall out of not studying at all. It's completely easy. And I think if a lot of guys are out there and you're losing, you're going through a downswing, or feeling uncomfortable in a lot of spots, maybe taking a little step back and say, how much time am I actually working at my game? Probably a good thing. Say, all right, let me at least I mean, people don't even know how to really study. I don't know. They might watch the Doug Polk video on autopilot. Do you watch the Doug Polk stuff? Do you ever watch his videos out there?
Yeah. I've watched some of his. I watch his upswing, his videos he made and stuff like that. Heads up stuff.
Do you think do you think there's do you think there's some best content out there for tournaments right now, or do you think it's all sort of pretty good or not good or whatever?
No, I think it's all very good. Obviously a great player. Goes into good depth into his thought process and stuff like that. At the same time, not trying to explain to people, lesser experienced players. So yeah, no, I think he does a great job.
Are you ever going to put a course out there too for $1,000? Are you ever going to do some training videos at some point in time, or coaching? Is that something that you find valuable, or something that you're into?
Yeah, possibly. If the right situation came along and I thought it was worth my time or worth what I might be giving up, then yeah, for sure. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, coaching. I was always against the idea of coaching, and then I started coaching, and I'm like, wow, I think it helps me more than it helps these guys I'm coaching, because I learn. Yeah. Like every time I'm at work with someone and they tell me something, I'm like, a light bulb goes off. Like, oh, that's how these kind of players think. Okay, like it. Yeah. You sort of see. You're like, what makes you good? What makes you understand these things? And when you talk to people who understand it just a little bit less, and they're sort of they say something, and you're like, oh my god, wow, that's how people think. Okay, that makes sense. It kind of gives you a lot more context on how different player types play. And therefore, when you encounter those player types, you're then able to sort of have a kind of in their head. You're in their head in a lot of ways, because you're actually in their head talking to them about that, rather than just hypothesizing what you think their strategy is or how they might be playing. You actually get to hear it firsthand. So I found that part of coaching something I never really thought about, and the most interesting part of coaching for me. Yeah,
it definitely seems like that would be valuable. While you're coaching, you're kind of studying yourself, and you're seeing how they're responding. And yeah, I think that you're learning quite a bit as you go as well. So yeah, no, that has crossed my mind as far as potentially coaching and stuff like that. But I've just been so busy the past several years, and just so focused on getting better, and so focused on playing and all these, keeping that balance and everything. So I just haven't kind of really had the time or motivation to do it. But maybe at some point it might be something I'd be interested in doing.
So how do you find the ability to turn off? I mean, there are a lot of distractions out there these days, a lot of people pulling us in different directions, a lot of things we want to do. So how do you sort of turn off all those things and turn off the distractions and really hone in on the ability and kind of focus on what you're doing and what you might be studying, or focus on your play?
I mean, that's something I need to work on too. There's always so much stuff going on, getting messages, getting this is happening, that's happening. So yeah, that's always going to be a constant struggle, or something I need to always get better at. But yeah, I don't know. Just try as hard as you can. Turn off notifications. Turn off the TV. Just anything that you can do to stay present and focus on what you're doing, and just not let other people mess up your rhythm. And yeah, it's tough. I don't really have like a specific way of doing it, I guess. But yeah, I guess just stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been thinking more about getting into that flow state, and I've been thinking about myself, and I found the phone, man. The phone has been the biggest thing. I didn't realize how much the phone broke up my ability to sort of just get into that rhythm and not just be completely focused in. And I never really went on the phone when I played online poker. I was just like, I never had that habit of open up the phone. And now when I'm playing, I'm like on my phone. When I go play live, I'm like looking at my phone. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm gonna throw the phone. I just want to break the phone. And I think for people out there, as they put more of this mind control on our phones out there, it's crazy, man. I don't know. Do you find that you have that issue when you go play a live tournament? Are you like on your phone? Are you kind of going through like that? Or are you just, do you put it in your pocket and what's sort of your approach with it?
Yeah, I mean, I try to stay off it as much. That's definitely another thing I need to work on, is staying off my phone. And I don't know, a lot of times you tell yourself that, oh, I'm going to be on my phone while paying attention, so I'm not missing anything. And then like you get calls from my phone, and then next thing you know, they're dealing the next hand, and you just have no idea what the hell happened. And you don't want to like ask around, like, what happened on the turn, what happened in the river? Like, did he check the flag? Like, it's just like annoying. So now you just don't even know what happened last hand. So I don't know. I try to stay off my phone as much as I can, especially in the bigger tournaments, but it can be tough. Definitely something I need to work on.
Yeah, I honestly think it's got to give certain people a huge edge. And it's probably honestly a reason why there might be people out there who could be winning, but they lose because they're just on their phone. Like, and the thing is that the more focus you have and the more focus you build up over time, the better you are at staying off the phone. It just kind of all builds up and builds up. And fucking phone, man. I'm telling you,
yeah, for sure. Everyone's addicted. I don't know. They gotta just put it away. You gotta turn it off. You gotta do something. It's definitely affecting a lot of people's game.
Luke Obama says, I just looked at David's Hendon mob. LOL, this guy crushes so hard. What a boss. Listen, when I looked at the Hendon mob, I'm like, is this fucking serious? I'm like going through, I'm like, is it, or what's this? Like, it's crazy, man. What the hell? I'm serious. I'm scrolling through this. I'm like, is this normal? I'm like clicking through other guys. I'm like, it doesn't seem normal, but I don't know. You as a heater, run good, skill, or what do you think it is that what do you think that sets you apart from some of the other players out there? What do you think like that you do well when it comes to qualities that make up a strong poker player?
I think just working hard. I mean, I just put in so much work, play so much poker, crazy amounts studying off the table, and just like being honest with yourself and looking at all the different areas and being honest and like saying that, okay, this is an area I need to work on, and actually putting in the time to work on it and get better and become well-rounded at all the different situations, and not being arrogant, not being, oh, I'm just so good. Like, oh, I'm already crushing. I don't need to change anything. I don't know. Why would I work on anything? I don't need to work. I'm just so good. Like you can't have that mindset. You like, oh no, even if someone's just by far the best player in the world, like not even close, they can still get so much better. So it's, you just have to put in the work basically. And I think I do good. And I also think I do a good job at not just immediately judging certain plays that maybe very good players will make. And some people will just look at a play and just kind of immediately say, oh, wow, he's overrated. That was so dumb. What is he doing? I mean, he just must not be that good as I thought. And it's like, no, okay, actually look into, there's a reason he did that. Now actually look into it yourself and determine if that actually was a bad play or not. And then maybe it was a bad play. Maybe his idea was right, but he chose the wrong hand to do it with, something like that. But actually put in the work and see if there's merit to it, as opposed to just saying, oh, this guy's overrated, he's a fish, he's not that good, whatever. You actually, and then, so stuff like that, I think you do very well.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you do have a pretty good ability to focus and maybe like turn off what's going, because I think anyone that could hop into going out, having a good time and focus on that, but then hop into studying, hop into playing, you have to be above average and probably really good at just turning those things off in your mind when you're in the moment of doing that. And I mean, people, I don't know how some people get better at that. It's something I'm trying to work at right now when I sort of bounce around and switch through things. And then, I think what you just said right there is huge. Just the ability to not immediately judge something at the surface, even if it's a complete fun player or if it's one of the best players. If they make a unusual play, shout out to the greatest poker player in the world, Phil Hellmuth. Phil Hellmuth, we see him make some unusual plays, and maybe these aren't solver approved. I don't know what's happening, but hey, Phil Hellmuth is one of the greatest poker players in the entire world. So maybe there's some merit to what he's doing. Have you ever thought about that as you watch Phil Hellmuth make some questionable plays with pocket queens, 13 big blinds deep?
Sometimes you might have to dig a little deeper, but no, I mean, he's got a style, and there's going to be some merit, and you can try and think about why he's doing certain things, and maybe, just think about his reasoning and try and take something from it. You might not agree with a lot of it, but just see his reasoning for it and just think about it. I don't know.
I'm still going to make that video where I'm going to state the case why Phil Hellmuth is one of the greatest and underrated poker players in the entire world. And I had the video. I was supposed to do this video a long time ago, but I just couldn't find that ultimate motivation to do it. But it's going to come out at some point. I'm ready to make the case. I have the case laid out. I think he is one of the best in the world. He's been crushing these tournaments for 20 some years. I mean, I don't know. Can you?
I mean, there's different skill sets in poker for sure. And one of them is exploiting bad players and knowing how to play against these weak fields, or if you're playing, I don't know, a 1K WSOP event, knowing how to adjust that from a high roller or something like that. Just knowing how a lot of these smaller stakes players play or something like that, and being able to pounce on that. And that's probably something I would assume that's something he does very well, and why he's been successful in WSOP events. So yeah, I mean, it's a whole different ball game. I think if you're going to take a GTO approach at like a table full of 8 people who don't really know what they're doing very well, or they're inexperienced players, then you're trying to stay balanced, and you're trying to like do it like random number generator versus like something silly like that. Like then okay, you're probably not going to be doing as best as you could versus these guys. So yeah, that's a whole different ball game. And like I'm going to play way different than I play a 1K than I play a 25K. It's just it's a different game. So but you have to be able to know how to adjust your game and play very well versus both fields.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like obviously a small sample size with the results in these bigger fields, but it seems like you've had success in these fields as well too. So I feel like you have a good idea, a good way of navigating those softer fields versus the tougher fields.
Yeah, I think I do a very good job at that, and that's also something you work on as well, like looking at different strategies, how to approach it versus players who are overfolding here or doing this, doing that. So yeah, I think that's definitely one of my stronger areas, is playing against players like that.
Yeah. Juan Ignacio De Luca says, Papi, can you ask David if he meditate or do yoga or something like that? Or how does he prepare his mind to go crush everything? Great question, Juan. Great question.
I actually haven't. I don't know. Either meditation or yoga has something I've been thinking about doing, and definitely feel like it would be helpful, and maybe I will start doing it soon, but I haven't really got into it yet. But I don't know. I don't have a specific kind of thing. I just try to be ready. I try to, wake up at a good time, or just try to do anything I can do to be mentally prepared for maybe not get too crazy the night before, or which sometimes can be harder than others. but no, I mean, I guess I don't have like a specific thing that I do. I don't know. I just feel like I'm always just ready to go.
You hear that, guys? You don't need to be vegan. Do acro yoga in the morning, meditate, prime your mind on the balcony with Fedor and Elliot Rowe in your ear telling you to calm, breathe, and you don't have to do that. I mean, maybe it helps. I don't know. I don't really do that stuff either. I guess I do some yoga stretching for workouts and stuff like that, but you don't necessarily have to do those things. You kind of focus on other areas. And I would I'm gonna think about this more. I feel like there are probably, I think for every great poker player out there, there's always a few qualities that make them what there's something, whether it's pattern recognition or whether it's just consistency or obsession or the ability to really put in the hours and study and then take that information over, or focus. There's always these things that separate different players from players who are kind of at the middling, from the players at the high stakes. So I'm gonna try to figure out exactly. I'm trying to, tournament guys. I don't have, the tournament guys I'm friends with. There's a few of them, but most of my guys have always been cash game guys. So getting that whole tournament player mindset, I might need to play some tournaments, guys. This might be time, my friends. It might be time out there. What do you think, David? Do you think I should hop in some 2-card Pot Limit Omaha tournament? No, you don't think so?
Some 2-card PLO. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, get in there. It's fun. You'll have a great time.
All right. You know what? I might play. I might play. Fuck. I don't know. People get so happy. I'm sure you were on ESPN, man. I'm sure your parents and your family back home, they were so proud of you. They're like, "Here's my little boy. He's on ESPN." Like that. That's like I don't know. I feel like parents are very proud of people that play tournaments and do well at them.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more exciting. You have more chances of being on the spotlight and stuff like that. I guess it's cash games. It's tougher to actually know how you're doing, whereas tournaments you can kind of follow closer. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. You got to get in there.
I'm not sold yet, but I might be sold. Chris C says if you're going to play tournaments, it's very important to buy in while you actually can. Listen, Chris, honest mistake. I did not mean to miss the main event last year. It just happened. I went an hour late. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, that's pretty much.
What happened? You missed the main?
Listen, you know what happened? You know, so I put out a free roll on Twitter. I said I'm giving away, what was it, 50% of my main event, whatever I won. And then
strong.
Yeah, and then I went there. I showed up. I was an hour late. I thought the time was different. My assistant told me a time. Shout out Jonah. And honest mistake. It's on video. It's there for people to see. It's an honest mistake. You've missed a tournament before, right? I bet you've definitely missed a tournament before, haven't you? You've missed something before.
Yeah, I've definitely missed a couple tournaments here and there.
Is it because of the wrong time or because you didn't wake up in time?
Waking up in time. Friends being bad influences, keeping me out too late. But yeah, sometimes you just rather relax and not feel pressure like you have to play everything, so you just stay in bed, or maybe you go and do something else instead.
I mean, you obviously got a great girlfriend in the chat supporting you right now. She, maybe you don't want to get out of bed sometimes. She's coming over there, baby, I wanna hang out with you. I want to cuddle, and you're like. Seems like an easier option is to cuddle with you tonight. So yeah, I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess so. I mentioned before we started, I got a message from a friend of yours on Facebook with some great questions. I'm going to go through. I'm going to pick one of those questions out. He says, "Ask D. Peters who his top 5 drinking friends are."
Top 5 drinking friends. Wow. Well, I can guess who that was, so I'm gonna have him on there. It was Francis Anderson. I'm imagining it was him. My reads are on point. Let me think. My other friend Sashi Baba, he's very good. Another bad influence. Nick Petrangelo, he's fun. I don't drink a ton with him, but he's always very out of line kind of guy.
Nice.
Go a little crazy. Let me think. Jake Baisley, he's up there. He's always fun. Lived with him in Mexico for a couple months a few years ago. We went out way too much. Let me think who else. Just a few nights ago I went out with. Let me think. Some of my friends are gonna be like, whoa, you pick him over me? Like, what the hell's up?
Wait, we got you in power ranking. Listen, we just got you to make a power rankings list now. That's always like when people ask me stuff like, "Oh, who's your favorite person to talk to? Your favorite podcast guest?" I'm like, I don't know. I really like them. I mean, I enjoy doing the pod. And William Queen in the chat said, he said, what did you say, William? We're saying a lot of comments today. He said, LMAO, we need more podcasts, man. I hope Joey sticks to the prop bet to do 2 a week. Listen, I am going to 100% do 2 podcasts a week. I was actually telling my friend before this, I said, I probably wouldn't have done this podcast with you today because this is the worst time on YouTube to do podcasts. By the way, guys, never put out a video or do a podcast on a Saturday night. But I've been wanting to have you on for a while. I think I messaged you back in January, and then I got sick, was in the hospital for a week, and I just wasn't. Yeah, I haven't really got that. But I'm back, guys. I'm back in the podcast grind, and I feel like there's a lot of people out there that I just want to know more about, man. I feel like there's some guys on there, especially some at the high six now. We've cycled out of those people that we knew a lot about, and now we got a lot of guys in there that are sort of just a little bit more unknown. And I feel like they've got to be interesting guys to make it to that level.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of good stories out there. A lot of people who you don't really know much about. You don't know what their struggle was or how their come up was, or I'm sure there's a lot of great stories out there that'd be fun to hear about.
Is there any guys out there that you see and you're curious about, or whether they're playing high rollers, or maybe you see them playing online, or they might not even play any high rollers quite yet? They might be up and coming guys.
I honestly don't even really know the online players much. Obviously guys like, OTB Red Baron, that would be like my number one pick. That would someone you want to know more about. It'd be just crazy to hear his story. If you have him on the podcast or something, I mean, obviously that'd be very difficult, but yeah, that would be someone that would be phenomenal to learn more about.
David wants to learn about the best online poker player in the world. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that, MTT'er. But hey, I think me and OTB every 2 years I ask him, or 3 years I ask him. It's gonna come a year and a half. I'll ask OTB again. We'll talk about maybe doing a podcast again. So it seems like some people might want to stay. I don't know, the lower. I guess when you think about the idea of being more well known and putting yourself out there more versus staying under the radar, where do you sort of fall on that with your own approach to things?
I think most of my career I was much more under the radar than I guess my results would speak or results would say. But I think more and more I've been kind of becoming more well known or more in the spotlight, I guess, which I'm fine with getting a little more exposure, I guess. In the past, I was kind of just doing my own thing, didn't really care for it. Was kind of just grinding and just more of like a quiet person in general, not really super outspoken. So, but no, I think it's something I kind of want to do more and get out there a little more and, I don't know, I guess give back a little more. I don't know, just be more outgoing, I guess.
So the idea of give back, is that something that's important to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good. Like, if you have people asking for advice or if you have friends who want to talk hands, stuff like that, or just like give advice to the community or stuff like that. Yeah, it's something that's for sure important.
Do you see any downsides to the idea of putting yourself out there more or getting more well known, or I guess just having more people know more about you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the downside would be, I don't know, I guess giving off too much information or something like that about me personally, or maybe getting too many people kind of asking for help or asking for money or asking for this, asking for that, to where it might become overwhelming or something like that, which I'm sure is the case for a lot of more well-known, more outspoken guys, I guess, who are more in the limelight more often. So, I mean, I guess that would be a downside.
Also, I hate to say it, David, but when you get more well-known, the ladies start hitting you up more, and they start sliding in the DMs out there. There's so many women out there in the poker world. So I don't know, it might be something, you and your girlfriend have a talk about that. I don't know, man. These women out there, I'm kidding, guys. There's not any women in poker. There's maybe like 5 that exist, and they're all on Instagram. So there's not many women in poker, man. I got to say, do you see any women? I feel like we got Kristen Bicknell out there, Chrissy B. I think, she might be one of the first women that might start playing these high rollers on a consistent basis. I don't know how far away she is from getting to that level out there, but it seems like she's really making a charge. Are you familiar with her game at all, or familiar with her at all?
Yeah, no, Kristen's she's a very good player. I play with her, not like a ton. I mean, a little bit here and there. Seems to play very well. Very nice at the tables, friendly with everyone. You gotta respect that, even if. It's funny, you hear people say stupid shit to her, and she just still kind of laughs it off and is like nice. So I mean, no, she's really cool girl, and it would be someone like that would be like a great ambassador for women. Yeah,
I think it'd be cool if we have a woman competing at that level on a regular basis. I mean, it'd be good on every angle. It might provide some more inspiration out there for women. It'd be good for the guys that love women. We know, David. It turns out guys love women. I didn't know, this is a new thing for me. I didn't realize that guys love women, but guys love women, so they just like watching them. They like trying to hit them up and talk to them, take them out, no matter what. So we have women up there at those games. I think it's just great overall for poker. I'm really rooting for her, man. I feel like I've known her for a long time. She's been playing online poker, former Supernova Elite. And her online poker days at the Nolan Hold'em full ring and 6 max cash games. I think mainly full ring. She played a lot of full ring. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see exactly where she could go with these whole tournaments out there. And what's your plan coming up here? So it's March 10th right now. And what's the stops looking like for you?
I leave for Macau in a few days, actually. So I'm going to be there for like 10 days, and then I'm taking a vacation, going with my girlfriend, and we're going to be going to Tokyo or bouncing around Japan for like a week. And then I go to Barcelona and then I'm gonna have a nice like week vacation somewhere in Europe. I haven't really decided yet after that, and then Monte Carlo, and then back to Vegas after that. So
yes,
a lot of action-packed couple months coming up. A lot of big tournaments.
Oh yeah, we got that party poker. Party poker's got the Barcelona event, and that might become a new stop on the calendar. With they have the Barcelona event in August usually for Poker Stars. Now we might have that party poker event here. I think it's in April. I think I actually might go out there. They invited me out there to do something with them, so I might go out there for that as well. What are the buy? Are there any crazy buy-ins in Asia or anything like that? Or are there any? Or what are the buy-ins for the events out there?
There's a really big one in Macau. It's the Super High Roller Bowl China. So they have the Aria one, the 300K, but now it's the China version. Ooh. So it's like a 250K US buy-in with 2 million Hong Kong, which is 250 US. Unlimited reentry. There's going to be 49 players, I think. So that's gonna be a big one.
Unlimited reentry. What?
Yeah. So that's gonna be a sec. I'm looking forward to that one.
Wait,
so,
how'd you get in that? What was the process like for because I imagine that was a popular event and people wanted to play.
I'm not really sure what the process as far as who got invited. I mean, Poker Central is doing it, so I maybe some more like they got to invite X amount of people. I'm not sure. So maybe some of the people who are more regulars in the events where they're on Poker Go and stuff like that, Aria tournaments, maybe had more likely to get in. But yeah, so I'm not really sure how it worked, but I'm in there, so whatever. But no,
I imagine that was some criteria. You as a player, you've been playing the events, you've been playing the Aria High Rollers, you played the Poker Masters, Poker Open. Now you want to go play this. You say, hey, okay, this guy is a regular on our things. We're going to let him in. And I feel like with the results, I feel like you being a personality in poker, one of the best players in the world, I think that's a great option. Is there a list of other people out there that are playing for that event yet?
Yeah, it's out there somewhere. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's like listed publicly or we kind of just like got emails, and I think there's some of it listed. I couldn't really find it, so I'm not sure, but I'll
probably find out. I'll find out who's.
It's probably out there somewhere.
It's so that's March 20th, 22nd, guys. Actually, I knew this was announced. I forgot about it. That's going to be fun because we're going to get to see some of the regular people in poker mixing it up with the Asian businessmen and the Asian poker players that play all those cash games out there in Macau. Man, that's going to be a really fun dynamic and probably unique for a high roller setting.
Oh, it's going to be great. I mean, it's always fun playing with those guys over there. They always have a blast. They're not too serious. It doesn't mean whole lot to them, so they're having fun, having a good time. It's a great mix, and yeah, it should be a great time. It'll be a great tournament.
Are you planning to play? There's a $1 million tournament this summer, right? $1 million one drop. Is that this summer?
Yeah, it's the end of the summer.
Are we in the mix for this or what?
I haven't really decided. It makes it difficult when there's 12% rake. I don't know how the tax or how the charity situation goes. If that's actually all going to charity or what, that would make it more likely to play. But that makes it more difficult for people to sell or something like that. But yeah, I would definitely like to play that, and I would say there's a good chance I play it. But we'll see what happens. I haven't really put too much thought into it yet. Still so far away.
If anyone wants to bet me that David won't play, I will happily take that bet right now, guys. I'm more than willing to give action. I'll give you. I'm not going to give you odds. I'll give you 1-to-1, but I'm more than happy to take action. That I think we're going to see MTT'ers in that tournament. Something just tells me that's what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm calling. You're not saying. I'm going to say it. I think we're going to see you in the event.
I don't want to kill your action, but I like your side.
I like your side. I might be able to sell. I think I could go around and sell the action. I'll go walk around Vegas. I feel like I could sell you action for that tournament. So I don't think it'd be too challenging there. So yeah. So it sounds like you got this busy schedule coming up here right now, and you're kind of taking it easy. You're going to travel there. You're going to take a little break. It seems like you do use breaks, and it makes sense because if you're only playing some of the higher buying events, that's going to give you more off time. So you're not grinding an event day after day after day. So that sounds like a pretty good approach to things.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to take some time in between, enjoy the city that you're in, or maybe check out some different countries, different cities, stuff like that, and not stay fresh, not get too burnt out from just playing everything all the time. But yeah, I think I have a good balance, and I like the way I go about it.
Yeah, I feel like it's been every time I've been to a city in the past, I go there, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go sightsee. And then I go there, I'm like, man, I'm playing poker. Fuck this. I'm not going out nowhere. I'm not. Your friends, you want to go? You want to go to the museum? I'm like, man, I'm trying to put in some hours right here. I'm not trying to go anywhere. So,
yeah. I mean, that's something that I probably should do more. I definitely should do more of is see the cities and go out and enjoy it a little more. And maybe, I guess ultimately that would be one of my goals, is to get to a point like financially, or where you can enjoy yourself more and enjoy these locations more and play less and enjoy life more, which is obviously very important.
Yeah. If people say, how'd you enjoy Australia, Joey? I go, well, I was playing a lot of poker. I've been out of line a little bit. I went to the beach one time, Bondi Beach. Shout out to Bondi Beach. Went there a few times, but I couldn't tell you much more besides that there. They got kangaroo steak, which is a unique food. There. They got the Star Casino, I think. Yeah, Star Casino. I don't remember, but that's something I definitely like when I go travel. Now I'm trying to set aside time, trying to turn off my brain from whatever it is I'm doing, and it's tough, man. I don't know. It's
really tough, yeah. And there's so much stuff going on, so much action always. Like there's a tournament or a big cash game, whatever you're playing every day. Usually, it can be difficult for sure, but.
David Kelly says top 5 tourney rankings. What are your favorite tournament stops out there, or favorite tournaments to play throughout the year?
I've always liked Barcelona. That would probably be my favorite stop. Let me think. People always hate on it, but I like Bahamas. I mean, this isn't really I don't know if that would be second, but I always like PCA. It's good weather. Everyone always talks about bad food and stuff like that. It's like, which is I always found kind of funny. It's like you're in the Bahamas, you just got a lazy river in your backyard. You got the ocean. It's like, okay, all right, the food may not be to your caliber, but let's relax. There's people in 12-degree weather right now, and you're complaining about your steak isn't as good as it should be. But so yeah. Prague, I always like that city. A lot of fun, a lot of action going on. Very, very beautiful. Let me think. Monaco, just more so because not so much the city. I mean, the city is okay and everything, but just the action. The poker's just so good. You get to play super high stakes every day. So, what else? Maybe
Las Vegas. Number 5.
Yeah, I like Las Vegas. Yeah, and especially now that I have a place here. I'm living here. It's nice to just bust and go home to your bed and chill, or your couch, whatever. So yeah, I like Vegas. That's another city a lot of people hate on, but I think it's a great city. I think there's a lot to do. And
I love Vegas. Vegas is cool, man. But it's funny. I sometimes you live closer to the area than I do. But I'm not far away, and I think man, to me it seems so far to me even still. But I'm like, wait, it's actually 10 minutes down the street. It's not far enough. But it's kind of surreal to be living so close to Bellagio, to Aria, to this big trip. It's kind of surreal feeling.
Yeah, it's nice if you want to go, have a crazy night on a Tuesday. You can go out. You can do that. If you're in most cities, it's dead on a Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever. And sometimes you want to just chill on a Saturday and not do anything. And it's like, you don't feel like, well, now that it's so much going on, you almost got to push yourself to go. But no, you can do whatever you want whenever. And there's just, they have everything you can think of. I don't know. During the summer, it can be hot and people hate because they're just playing poker all day, every day. And it's 105 degrees out. So I get that. But I don't know. I like it here.
Yeah, I get it. For the series, I get it. It gets to be about June 21st. You're walking through the hallway at the Rio. That goddamn guy's asked you if you want a phone charger 175 times. So a phone charger. Listen, guy, I know we got phone chargers. I fucking heard you. I seen you the previous 100. You don't got to tell me. Why do they keep? I don't get this guy. Get this guy out of there, man. I'm having a talk with the World Series of Poker guys because I'm putting a video about this. We got to get rid of that guy hacking phone chargers in the damn. We can see you got a phone charger. We got it, bro. Like what?
Like maybe he's thinking that once he says something, the light will click. Like, you know what? Maybe I do. Actually, I didn't think about it before, but now I needed that phone charger. You sold me.
Yeah.
You got me. You got me.
Like, all right, listen, I'm down $175,000. I'm in makeup. I don't know if I'm ever getting out of makeup again. I don't shut the fuck up about the fucking phone charger, man. You know, do I want to eat the sushi in the food? No, I don't want. I want some good food, man. Come on,
that's some high quality stuff. That's some high quality stuff. It's fine. But yeah, it can be it can be pretty unbearable sometimes. So I definitely understand people's viewpoints for hating on Vegas for those reasons, for sure.
Man, I got a picture in my phone or on my Facebook from 2011 after Black Friday happened, and I was trying to make it as a live player. I'm standing in the Rio parking lot with the Vegas backdrop. My hair's long. I look disheveled. I'm just like, I'm down. I'm just like, I'm fucking over it. Like that. It just epitomized what that summer was like, trying to make it as a live player before I went to Canada. I got out of here. So I can understand, like, when you see them and they're running down, like, fuck this place.
Yeah, they all kind of they associate like how they're doing in poker with like the city, and it's like, oh, this place is horrible. I'm down so much money. I'm getting crushed. It's so hot out, and so that's like if they're doing well, then it's like, oh, this is actually fun. A lot of stuff to do. I'm having a great time. I just went out to the club last night. You know, we've got a table. It's fun. We had a blast. But
we spent 10,000 in excess last night. It was a great time. We were drinking. I was popping bottles. It's always good when you're winning, for sure, man. But you mentioned Bahamas is the second place, and you said the food's not. I know the food. Everyone in poker, we got a lot of professional food eaters in poker. Obviously, you guys know that if you're on Twitter. But very underrated option, guys. If it's late at night and you're coming back upstairs, you're a little drunk, you're going to the Cove or whatever, there's that one little restaurant there. I can't think of the name. It's like the seafoodish place, but they got some chicken fingers there. You go there, you get chicken fingers, bring them to your room while you're drunk. I'm telling you what, that's one of the best meals I've ever had in my entire life. I had it multiple times down there. Check it out. Well, next year you guys aren't going to remember. It won't matter anyway. But
that's a strong statement.
I'm serious. My God, they were.
Chicken fingers being one of the best meals you've had in life that's a very strong. I got to get these chicken fingers. That sounds great. You got to understand the concept. So you got to be drunk first. It's got to be 3 a.m.
Really, okay. You got to be really. I was naked in a bathtub with some friends. I don't want to call. I don't want whatever like that. They were. And whatever, man. You got a favorite place in Vegas. You like to go. You like to eat. You got a favorite place. Oh, sure. You're like, wait, what happened? Give me more context. You know, it was what you got a favorite place in Vegas you like to go eat, David. But you can recommend to people out there if they come visit.
I like Herringbone at Aria. It was very good.
Beautiful place.
Fix at Bellagio. I love that place. Yeah, probably those two. Carbone at Aria is very good. Vegas has so many good food options.
David, you ain't leaving your street very often, buddy. I'm gonna tell you right now. Those are down, let's venture away from down your street. Okay, we got the Aria. We know you go to Aria. We get it. Okay. What about a place outside of that? What do you think about that? David's like, well, walk down the street to Aria, and I got Javier's. I mean, Fix is right there too. Herringbone. Yeah, we know. Aria. What about a place outside the Aria? What do you think?
We gotta get out a little more. Let me think. Musashi is always a good spot. It's like
the girlfriend says Umiya on Flamingo. A little farther away.
Umiya, that's the place.
Classic place.
That's our go-to spot.
You gotta go to. It's open until 2 a.m. It's unlimited food. Yeah. I've never heard of these unlimited, like the unlimited sushi meats. You get you just keep bringing you food and you eat. I don't know. It's a pretty wild place.
I mean, yeah, I love that place. It's like all you can eat. I mean, $25 or whatever it is a person. I mean, the sushi is great. I mean, the food's good. It's not 10 times worse than the fancy sushi place. That's for sure. I mean, it's maybe a little.
You better. We got to ask some of the food. Let me ask some of the food sections.
I mean, I don't know. Umiya is my spot. I love that place.
If you insult Umiya and you say it's not a good place, I'm not interested in being friends. I mean, I definitely have friends that put Umiya down for sure, but overall, it's one of my. Every time I brought someone there, they're always like, because that's one of my spots I like to bring people. And also the Wynn Sportsbook, they got a great barbecue meatloaf in there. It's got these fried onions on there with the barbecue sauce and the broccolini and the potatoes. I mean, I walk down there almost a couple times a week. I get the barbecue meatloaf at the Wynn. So coincidentally enough, it's by my place too. So I'm not unlike you. I go where I'm close by. I'm not going down. I'm not going down the street. So. So there's a question. Your girlfriend's guiding me in the chat today. She says, please, Joey, please ask the bankroll question. Okay, let me go to the question. Rob V. Ort says, how long did it took David to make a solid bankroll? A bankroll that is comfortable.
How long is it? Comfortable for what? It's tough to say. I think I've always had a pretty comfortable bankroll for if you're being reasonable. Maybe not comfortable bankroll for what I would like to play, or I don't know. I guess I'm on more the aggressive side of, so, X amount bankroll is very comfortable for probably what realistic stakes. But if you're trying to play very big and yeah, I don't know. I guess it took. I built up a bankroll pretty quickly. I did pretty well from the start. Grinded sit and goes, cash games, MTTs. Had some early success. So yeah, I think fairly quickly in the first year or two, I had a pretty comfortable bankroll.
There you go, guys. Easy game. If you don't have a comfortable bankroll in the first year or two, you're doing it wrong. We got a lot of winning players on there. I don't know if you knew that. My audience, 95% winning players here. Doug Polk has 95% losing players this channel. So around here, if you're here, guys, you're lucky. The lucky 95% of players that are winning. So thank you for being here and being part of the world here. You grew up in California. You grew up in Rancho Santa Fe. Is that about right?
No, that's the other David Peters. That's a whole nother.
Say that on Hendon Mob. Alex Trifus, get away from the blockchain initiative and the casino entrepreneur, and you got to fix the Hendon Mob, bro. What is this, man? Come on. So you grew up in Toronto then?
Nah, I'm from Ohio.
Why does it say you're from Toronto? What is going on with this?
It says Toronto?
Bro, I'm telling. I might be crazy. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Hendon Mob expert. All right, this is one of the first times in about a year I was on there. So I'm doing my research. I'm telling you, am I fucking losing my mind here? It says, oh, my bad. I can't read. It is what it is. All right, Toledo, Ohio. Yeah, you're right. How many David Peters are there?
I mean, they both start with T-O. I mean, it makes sense. I get it.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Germany. I was like Rancho Santa Fe. I used to live near there. Okay, Toronto. I'm like, cool. I used to live in Canada. Toledo, Ohio. I went to Akron once, man. What's it like growing up in Ohio? What's it like there?
I mean, growing up in Ohio, it was fun. I mean, nothing. Wasn't too excited. Not too thrilled about it, I guess. But no, it's cool. It's some stuff going on. I kind of started traveling pretty early and wasn't in there too much after I was like 18 or 19 or whatever. But no, it's fun if you have some good friends around. Not like an action. It's not going to be like so much action going on like out in California or something like that. But it's all right.
So you were pretty motivated to get away from that area when you were growing up?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Wasn't too thrilled about the living situation, so wanted to go explore more, maybe exciting parts of the world. So yeah, that was the motivation.
Yeah, I found mine where I grew up the same way. I grew up outside Chicago and kind of like suburbs, and I was always like, I want to get the hell out of here as soon as I can. I'm trying to get away from all this stuff, man. All the bad influences in my life, all the toxic people that I knew. That was a huge motivator for me back then, and I think it's probably a big motivator for people now, but it's kind of hard when you don't have a circle of people around you who support this dream or support this ambition or support this idea for you. And did you have that when you were growing up, or did you have that when you started playing poker? Did you have people around you who were kind of in favor of you being so ambitious and really working so hard to try to get to a point at your life where you maybe dreamed about getting to?
Oh yeah, for sure. I had a good support system. My parents, my brothers, my family was always supportive. Never, always just, even when I like dropped out of college, they were always very much just wanted me to kind of the approach of I know what I want to do, and they're wanting me to be happy. So yeah, that definitely helps when you have friends and family like that supporting you and not pulling you back or holding you down. So that's definitely key.
Man, I think it's one of the most underrated things people don't talk about in the world out there. Because I meet so many people that have so much talent, so much potential, but their support system around them just like very bringing them down, putting their ambitions down, knocking them down. It's really wild to kind of see some of the situations people are in because of the people around them. So it's if you guys are out there, you don't have a positive support system of friends you can talk to or people around you. I think that's one of the biggest things is try to cut out one person, the most toxic person out of your life, and try to bring someone in who supports what you're doing. And Whether you find them from online poker, you find them from around you at life or at work or wherever, man, you got to try to do that, because I think that's a big thing for people that holds them back, man.
Yeah, I mean, you have some people putting these voices in your head and constantly like saying you're supposed to do this, or like this is where you're supposed to. This is where you're supposed to be. Put all that stuff behind. Focus on what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have this normal life. You're supposed to do 9 to 5, married, kid. Like, and it's like, no, you should do what you think is right for you, and you should what you want to do. If you don't want to do a 9 to 5, you're not going to be happy and miserable at a job for the next 50 years of your life. It's like, no, you want to do what you enjoy, and you want to do what's going to make you happy.
So did you always want to be a professional dancer when you grew up, or was that something that you picked up as you got older?
Yeah, that was always the main goal from day one. But I mean, I don't know. I like to have fun. Sometimes you get loose and start showing my dance moves. I don't just show them out to anyone. You know, sometimes you gotta. I don't know, but no.
You gotta what? What do you got to do? You got to what?
You got to earn it. You got to earn this. You got to earn the right to see my moves. You know.
Okay.
You can't just show them to anyone. I have fun out there.
Yeah, I put this video up on Instagram. At the end of the interview, you're talking about. I don't know. I took it as a challenge to the poker community. You want to have a dance off with people out there. You said, "Hey, I'm ready to go 1v1 against anybody out there at dancing." That's what I took it as. I'm like, I just want to dance off right now. I couldn't figure it out though.
I mean, I'm ready. Let's go.
Man, listen, we haven't done a dance. We haven't done a dance off in a long time. We used to do dance offs on the podcast. Remember, me and Sam Abernathy did like I don't know, we like a headstand off. I think I almost died during that handstand. We're not doing a twerk off. No, we're not doing a dick off. No, the dick offs are retired
dick
back
off.
in the day. We start.
I don't even know what a dick off is. I mean, sounds fun, but I don't know what that
is. It's an old podcast. Listen, we're 2018 now. We moved past the times of the dick off. It's where whatever. It doesn't even matter what it is. Honestly, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what it is, guys. Calm down, man. What we did the rap battle before. Do you do any freestyle rapping at all?
A little bit here and there.
Your girlfriend has declared a winner. She says David would win the dick off. So hey, I'm not. We gotta get more girlfriends in the chat, man. This is damn, man. Oh, this is the secret. You guys are watching. You want to know what David's secret is? You got to get a girlfriend in the chat who's gonna support you. If your girl ain't riding for you dick off, you got to get a different girl out there. Okay, that's what I'm learning today. This is a top-notch, unique edge that our man here has.
That's great.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's not honestly, I don't think it's the first time that a girlfriend's said that in the chat about their guys. I mean, it's very, very GTO support system right there. So, but if you did a dance off, what would be your move? What would be your move in a dance off here? We do a dance off. We got 10 seconds to dance. What's your move going to be?
I mean, I don't really have names to my moves, or I don't know what I'm going to do going in. It just happens, you know. Something happens, and I start moving my hands around, like, so I don't really have an answer to that question. Just whatever comes out. You like a climber? You climbing? You doing the climb up here? Or what are you doing? I've never done the climber. A little break dancing. No, not really. But
little break dancing, little weight. You body weight. You waving the body around the shoulder. Is that your move right there?
Yeah, a little bit of that. Kind of just a mix of everything.
The shimmy, is it the shimmy?
Shimmy, yeah. I'm a big shimmy, yeah.
He's a field dancer.
Yeah, field dancer, yeah. Some people are field players. I just feel the situation out. You got to see what someone else is doing, kind of counter that. It's just all about just the situation. Every situation is different.
David, you ever been to a place called Oddfellows downtown?
Oddfellows? No, I don't think so.
It's my favorite place to go in Las Vegas. They play a lot of old school, like 80s music they play in there. It's like in the back. You gotta know to walk through to get in the back. It's like a big projection. It's dark. There's a bunch of weird people there, and shout out to them. They're weird, whatever it is, what it is. But there's a lot of people in there, but it's kind of weird. I'm gonna have to challenge you to an official dance off at Oddfellows sometime over these next couple months. We'll find out. Well, I guess you're not going to be here, so you're going to leave soon. So during the series, you guys I'm going to write this down. We're going to do a dance off, me and MTT'er somewhere. It might be, I don't know where it's going to be. It might be DC. Who knows where it'll be? But we're going to have a dance off, and I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to see who's going to win, me or you. And
let's do it.
That's it. Okay.
Let's do it.
Perfect, man. I am. Let's take some questions from the chat, guys. Give me what you got here. If you're tuning in on this Saturday night, I think it's 8 o'clock. Or if you're in East Coast, or if you're back home in Europe and it's late at night, appreciate you tuning in live, guys. It's a very rare Saturday night podcast we got here. I see a lot of people in the chat. East Coast Grinder, what's up, Big Poppy? What's going on, brother? A guy I've seen for years, man. Asarino King, what's up, Asarino? What's happening, bro? Mr. Easy, Dan James in there. You got some shout outs you want to give? You got people you want to give a shout out to?
I'm all right.
No shout
out to my parents. Shout out to my girlfriend Alexandra Sherman. I already shout out to her. Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to my brother at home, Mike. My brother Mark. I like it. Keep it simple. I don't know.
I like it. Okay. I like it. We got Aaron Kapner out there. What's up, puppy? What's happening, brother? I haven't spoken my fake Spanish in a while. Let me take that out here. Hold on a second. Delante viewer says, please ask my question on 2+2, Joey. Puck, poker, go. Okay, let me find your question on 2+2, my young friend. Let me see what your question was. Let me go to my chat here. Do you consume any poker content out there? Are you watching? Are you watching Poker Go? Are you watching any content out there?
Yeah, I watch Poker Go episodes. Those are always good. You watch some Run It Once videos, stuff like that. Yeah, if there's, final tables on TV and stuff like that, I'll watch it. But I guess not too much outside of that.
Yeah. All right. Question on 2+2. David Peters has a hilarious avatar on PokerStars. Monkey from Family Guy who lives in Chris' closet. Please ask him what other TV shows he likes, especially comedies. Does he play any live cash or The Great Game? Already answered the second question technically. What about the first question? Ask him what other TV shows he likes, especially comedies. What else is on this list? Are you guys binge watching on Netflix while you're laying in bed together watching shows on there, or what are you watching?
I actually have been watching a show recently called Sneaky Pete, which is kind of like might be a good nickname for me, but no, that's a really good show. Power is another one on Netflix. I really like that. I haven't really, I don't watch much TV. This is like just recently. I can't even think of the last show I watched in the past like few years, like aside from these two. I probably went for like a 2-year stretch where I never actually pressed the power button on a TV. Like I guess I just don't really watch much TV. Kind of maybe a little more recently, just chilling with, it's chilling home or whatever. But yeah, I guess I'm just so busy all the time. I have so much going on. I never really, I guess I just don't watch it too much.
Yeah, shout out to Power. Power's a great show. It's on Stars. 50 cents in that show. My young poker friend Randall Emmett is one of the producers on there. I think I'll be having him on my official podcast. He plays on Live at the Bike a lot. It's some Poker Night or Poker After Dark, and he's involved with that show. So I might be having him on my official podcast pretty soon, actually. So shout out to him. I love that show a lot. What did the chat? East Coast Runner said, shout out to all the aspiring Instagram models out there. Okay, this is the place for them. Amelia says, David, who is the best Jamaican poker player?
I got to go with Emil Chef for sure. He's really sick player.
Perfect.
Jamaican. Yeah, I mean.
Thank you for that question, Emilio. I appreciate you asking who the Jamaican poker player is. I thank you. I thank you. Thank you for that. That's a great way to get a question in here. I mean, ask about. All right, Brendan Dobbin, Joey, ask him any tips for people new to multi-table tournaments online. Cheers.
Any tips? Yeah, I would say find that good mix of putting off the table work and playing. I think earlier in my career, a big mistake that I made was just too focused on playing nonstop, play all the time. And trying to make money, trying to get out of this downswing, try to go on a hot streak, that, and just so focused on climbing stakes and not focused enough on actually looking at situations and working our game and getting better. Because that's definitely important.
Yeah, I mean, I was the same way. I'm like, play every single day. I'm like, do you study? I'm like, yeah. I go watch videos. I talk hands with friends. I'm like, I don't study. I'm playing, man. I'm like,
well, I can't make money if I'm studying. Like,
that's what I was saying. I'm like, why would I study? I'm playing. Like, I'm trying to get to 2550. Why am I going to study? And then, like,
I'm not going to get out of this downswing by just sitting here and studying.
That's what I'm saying. How are you going to make your money back? You're losing it. It don't make like. But then you realize 5 years down the road, you're like, see what they're talking about. It's yeah. It takes us years sometimes. It just does. I don't know. It takes us years. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, another question. Stanley Lee, David, who is the best black poker player you know?
my friends are idiots. I gotta go with Stan Lee. He's a beast. Beast from the East.
The best black poker player. Thank you for that question, Stan Lee. We appreciate the question. It's a good one there. Let's see. Aaron Kapner, what is the nicest gift David bought Alexa S with his poker money? And she said, let's see if your answers match. So Aaron asked that question. What is the nicest thing you bought her with your poker money?
I bought her a purse that was way too expensive, but she enjoys purses, so I would probably go with that.
Unfortunately, your answer did not match up. She says dinner at Umiya. So I mean, hey, that's that'd be a good one. Like a poker couple, like a couples in poker. How well do they know each other? That's like a class. That's a classic idea, man. That's like that idea, that trivia. These ideas are classic show ideas. I feel like that would be good here, man. He won't. What are these questions we getting in here? Alexa S. Who is the best girlfriend poker player?
gotta be Aki Sherman, Alexander Sherman for sure. She's really, really good player. I mean,
does she mean non-professional? I guess is that what she means?
Just in general, yeah.
Does she play poker? Is she a player too?
She plays. She plays cash games, tournaments here and there. Yeah.
Where she play? Did she play at the art? Is she grinding a lot?
She used to play a lot, and she's from Miami, so she played a lot like Hard Rock, Highlights, stuff like that.
You didn't tell her she's from Miami.
Yeah.
Miami is a different. Oh, Miami. She was told that. That makes more sense. What's happening? That makes more sense. She got that Miami energy happening here. Yeah, from Toledo. She's not from Ohio. Okay, that makes sense.
Definitely not from Ohio. Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm telling you, that makes sense right there. That makes sense. We got Bodyguard 71, the best poker player in Portugal.
Best. I don't even really know.
Can you name one Portuguese poker player?
I'm not even really sure. Nothing's coming to mind. I probably should be able to name a couple, but nothing's coming to my mind. I guess.
Maybe a guy named Sira Al-Aziz on Paolo. I'm not. Listen, that guy's a bum hunter. I'm not saying he's the best poker player in any country, but I actually do not know a Portuguese poker player. That's kind of shocking. I know I have to know, but
I mean, yeah.
That we can't.
I feel
44 bars is not. Yeah, 44 bars is not. No, we're not. No, Stasha, calm down. 44 bars is not. He is not. Stop it. He is not on the list. There is no chance 44 bars is on the list. He is an out of line poker player there. So, all right, we'll take another question or two, guys. I'm going to wrap things up here. David, who do you got a podcast suggestion? Who do you think I should get on the podcast next, man?
Well, aside from like OTB, like I said before, but I think
besides OTB Red Baron, yes. Besides OTB Red Baron, please.
Yeah, I think Eric Seidel would be a good one. Ooh. I don't know if he would, but I don't know. And he's kind of like quiet, kind of like feel like he has a lot. It would be very interesting for sure. Let me think. I think Nick Petrangelo would be a good one.
I think so.
He's another guy that gets out of line quite a bit, and obviously one of the best poker players. Definitely have had some fun nights with him. But yeah, that would be very interesting.
I like those suggestions. I think Nick was somebody that I had on my list of someone I definitely would like to.
I think you need to make sure he's hammered when you do it, though. That would be a great time.
Let's try to make him look as sloppy as fucking possible. I like that idea. I am totally. But wait,
keep in mind though, fair warning though, he might whip his dick out at some point if he's hammered. I have seen him do that. I have seen him do that at the bar.
So you guys have had you have had a dick off before. It sounds you know what a dick off is then.
Oh, that's a dick off. Oh,
that's when you both take it out and you do.
Oh, that's a dick. Oh, okay.
Yeah, dick off. Yeah.
We didn't have the full. He was kind of just a one man dick off, but I didn't really join the.
That's weird. That's just weird right there. My God, man. My God, that's weird. People said Bryn Kenny. So I talked with Bryn at the Poker Awards, guys. We are going to do a podcast. Me and Bryn are going to do one together. Someone said Sam Trickett. I know Sam is doing a lot for Party Poker, and I talked with Theo from Party Poker. So I think Sam is a very real possibility. But right now we're trying to get Isildur on the podcast. Isildur's coming our way. Shout out to Isildur. Your girlfriend says play up, please. What's his real name?
Robbie Lipkin. Very, very good player. He runs a poker stable. But yeah, that'd be an interesting one.
Say that name a lot. Just a couple last questions. Stanley, David. How do you party till 6? Whatever. Any dreams for the future? Rob Van Ort says. Rob V. Ort.
Any what was that? Dreams?
Any dreams? Any big dreams? Anything you see in your vision that you really want to get to?
Yeah, I guess big dreams would just be continuing to. I don't know. I guess still playing at the highest level years down the road, still doing very well in super high rollers year after year after year, or maybe I don't know, getting to number one in overall earnings or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess my main dreams are more just enjoying life and traveling a lot and just I don't know, having a great time.
Well, currently you sit at number 16th on online poker rankings all-time money list. 19.2 million. Daniel Negreanu's at 36.5 million. Will be a little bit challenging to catch. So I mean, you're certainly within the realm of possibility. And if you take down the $1 million tournament this year, that could put you in first, which is kind of fucked up because I mean that distorts things a lot here when you have the $1 million Dan Coleman's up there, Antonio. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of that personally, but I get why it's on there. I do feel like, you kind of it hurts a lot of the other guys who didn't win this $1 million tournament up there. It's a big score, but
there's probably like a separate one where it's like you take off your top score or something like that.
Yeah, I think so because then the list is like Negreanu got second and then Seidel's up there. Seidel, I feel like he probably should be that top guy up there. I don't think his were aided by any of these, $1 million, 18. I mean, Antonio and Coleman are on there. They had like $18 million. They got like that's gonna be that's number 7. You shouldn't win one tournament and be the 17th person on the list of all time. Like to me, whether maybe there's like most big cashes. I'm sure there's other metrics that people can use. And the tournament world is unfortunately not. You're unfortunate that I'm not involved in the tournament world because there's a 100% chance I would have added more metrics for tournament players out there by now. But instead, I'm in Potland, Omaha, and I'm bringing Potland, Omaha to the entire world. So David, any last parting thoughts you'd like to give the people out there, my friend?
I don't know, not really. I think we had some good thoughts. I think we got all of my thoughts. That's the longest I've talked for a long period of time in a while. So, but no, I mean, I guess as far as out the poker players, I would just say, keep putting in the work. Don't focus too much on the results. Focus more on your actual growth as a player and your improvements. It's going to be difficult to get through all these big field tournaments. It's not going to be an overnight process. And yeah, just focus more on how you're playing and how you're approaching the game and how your thought process is compared to whether or not you win that big flip with 10 left. And like, it's going to be part of it. It's going to be tough. I mean, I look back on the early parts of my career and had some crazy, just so many big final table bubbles, so many disappointing things that happened. And I look back on that now and I'm so happy that all those things happened because it's made me a much stronger player and stronger person. So yeah, I just don't even look at it as a bad thing. Look at it as, it's going to make you stronger and could be a potential blessing. So.
I love it. Guys in the chat, appreciate all the comments out there. David, very nice to talk to you, man. Great to get to learn more about you. I'll be looking forward to seeing how this upcoming series go. If you can continue the run of some very great results, my friend. Thanks for joining me on here. Guys in the chat, check it out on iTunes or rewind it back if you want to watch it. Be back next week. Don't know exactly who I'm going to have on, but yeah, that's it, guys. Peace out. David, much love, man.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.